Dead meme.
Alright, so episode 3 of the tutorial. We left off with leather working, so this one. So I've completed this. I think I can do this in one episode, and this is an important part of that. So we're just going to jump straight in. Lots has happened. Some of it's covered on the Let's Play. My one friend Akuma, he's a huge trooper. This guy's on the server pretty much all the time. He's adding tons of value to our server, but we're going to move on. All right, so we're in the new, like, kind of, I guess you would call it our warehouse. You're going to need the work knife. Many of the recipes are going to require you to cut this leather that we've made into strips so that we can begin making cordage. So we'll look at the lead. At this point, you will not have this crafting station, but we're just going to use it so that you can take a look. As you can see, it's a compound. You'll need string, the leather strips, you'll get cordage. Cordage plus string equals a lead. That will cover this. The TP is very simple. We'll just show it to you. TP's recipe is exceptionally simple. That'll be the first tool that lets you sleep through the night. There's totemic craft, which is also very simple. So we'll look at the drum. So recipe, it's very easy. Wood with some leather. Just the planks. The rattle is a compound item. You'll be making this with that normal workbench with the stone, as you won't have access to this yet. And you will also need a flute. It would help if I spelt it right. You'll need a blade of grass. You can get this with the shears. You can get this out of your strainers. They commonly will collect this. So that will cover this one. The sleeping bag, you're going to need thatch. So thatch, I don't believe I've ever shown it to you, but it's this. Now, we get this thatch from these, I think they're called bulrushes. But anyway, this is how you create it. It starts off green, you put it down, and it eventually turns into this yellow brush. So we'll come back when we're ready to describe the next part. You're going to need this horse chop block. We're going to cover it very soon, but you would just throw this into this machine and the horse will split it down into a much more narrow piece. So we'll take a look at it right now. Sleeping bag. So this is that thatch you're going to need and leather. So that will cover us right up to here. So totemic craft, let's go take a look at it. All right, I forgot one part that we'll need for the totemic related stuff. It's the wind chime, and this is the recipe. It's very simple. So you'll place the wind chime in the world, kind of like that. You'll place the drums in the world, that's them there. I put my rattle and my flute in a box along with the book in the station where I'm going to do the work. So you're going to need to make a totem. I'm going to show you this in a second as well. All right, so you'll require the totem whittling knife. Yeah, totem whittling knife. You'll need a flaked flint and a stick. So it's a pretty simple recipe. It can be done in the small crafting window. So you'll need a couple of logs. So we'll just do this. So if you hold down left shift and roll the mouse wheel, assuming you have not altered your controls, you'll eventually get the totem base, which is what we're looking for. Totem base. So you'll need to do that for the first one. All of these do something else, but Ocelot's one of the better ones. I just recommend going with Ocelot because it'll chase creepers away. And of course, there's like a million different functions. Some of them give luck and other bonuses, but that's we're getting really advanced. I don't want to get lost in the weeds. So now we're going to move back to the totem station. Okay, so wherever this totem is, this is like the seat of power for your ritual. In order to select a ritual, we're going to actually clear out the inventory because we want all of this stuff easily accessible. You get this book as soon as you complete this achievement here by creating all of the components for the ceremony, the rattle, the drum, the chimes, all of that. So we're going to look at ceremonies. One that you're going to need to know is we'll do Buffalo Dance because we might as well show it to you. So in order to initiate this dance, it shows you here that these are the two. We need to go from the drum to the chimes. So hold down left shift, click on the drum, and then hit the chimes. Now make a whole bunch of noise, like swap through all your items, and the goal is to get that top one to beat the timer. And of course, other players can help you do these. They'll go a little bit easier. And there are advanced instruments, but I'm not going to cover that. Like, we're just going for advancements for the most part. And you'll know you're done when you see the sparklies. That dance turns them into, turns them from cows into buffalo. So that's an achievement that we're going to show you momentarily. All right, in the totem guidebook as well, you'll need to know the rite of spring. I'm not going to do this dance, but it's very similar. Just put some saplings down next to your totem and perform the ritual. You'll get saplings that allow you to grow this tree. This tree is required in order to advance in one of the achievements, which we'll show you a little bit later. All right, so we're going to do the overview for horsepower. This is kind of like an automated chopping station as long as a horse or a cow drives it. I'll show you this setup at the end, how to do this. So you just throw stuff in the top and it just does it all for you. You don't need to pay attention. So here's the example. I toss it up top and it will grind all through that. No input from me. This is the press station. We're going to cover all of them. So we'll head to the crafting station and show you that now. All right, so if you throw horse into the bottom here, we'll get the 3 recipes we're looking for. So the horse grinder requires leads. We've covered this near the beginning of the video. Smooth stone, you can get this commonly from your strainers. This is the saw station, so you'll need a chop block, or there's the alternative. And the press. So you're going to need a lot of leads. You might as well mass produce a whole bunch of leather. I know it's really tedious, but you know, once we get a little bit further, I'll show you a method of mass production when we unlock those technologies. So I'm not going to go through building these. I'm sure you can figure it out with the help of JEI. So we're going to move on. So that will cover all 3 of these. Well, this one you'll need to compress a coal block. So this is the buffalo dance. This is the rite of spring, or the sapling dance. We're doing this because we need 2 items that we get from these to build this. This is a gear, and we'll need it for the mill. The mill will actually be one of the first more heavy-duty machines. So we're going to move on to that gear. So this is the one wooden gear. We need buffalo teeth and red cedar planks. That's why we're making red cedars. This is why we're growing buffalo. This is an alternative recipe. You cannot build this until the next age because glue is not available to you. It's visible now because I'm in stage 1, but we're going to cover that as well when we get there. So we're going to build this device, the millstone, along with the hand crank. So this is the millstone. It requires that simple grinding stone that we were using in the beginning of the game to grind the bone meal, the resin, all that stuff. This is the lever base. This machine does nothing without the lever, so you'll need to make that gear. You'll place the lever base on top. There are a whole bunch of recipes that you can look at, but one of the ones that's a great example is grout. So sand, clay, gravel. So I've got that one in there with the lever on top. You can slowly build this bar up. This is rather tedious, and it really destroys your hunger meter. So there is an advantage to this. if you're lacking in one of the nutritions, you can work this machine and easily build up that nutrition. So this is how we're going to get some of the more advanced components like grout, charcoal dust, and we're going to come back with the next achievement. Okay, so with that grindstone done with the gear, so we'll achieve quit milling around. This wheel, we should cover this real quick. It is extremely simple to make. There you go. I'm sure you could figure it out from there. If you want to keep going, you can make a cart. It's not relevant to what we're doing, so we're not going to cover it. The storage chest upgrade, you're going to need to do this. So this is a primal chest. Darklands oak wood. So we have to talk about another item in order to help you get this. Nature's compass. This is the crafting recipe. This compass will help you find the Darklands. I'm going to find mine and I'll show you the UI how to use it. All right, so you can take the compass in hand, right click, ask it to look for the Darklands, particularly search. It'll give you the coordinates and it will point in that direction. Normally, these things are very far away. Our Darklands is about 2 kilometers away from here. Be ready for a long trip. As you approach the Darklands, you'll see trees that look like this. We captured a sapling and brought it home so that we can produce more of this lumber if we saw fit. The region where these spawn at nighttime, the monsters are very deadly. I do recommend having some decent armor along with some half-decent swords. My Let's Play showed one of the strategies on how we tackled this. With one person, we eventually went back with a whole bunch, but most people were camera shy. They didn't want to be on camera, but that's a different discussion. All right, so you've used your Nature's Compass, which is this achievement, to go to the Darklands so that you can get the wood to make this treasure box or this storage upgrade. You're going to need this version, so get some tree bark. That's the tree bark that you guys will probably have access to, something that looks like that. Make a couple of them, put them aside. You're going to need it later. All right, so this is where we left off in the main chain. This is where things kind of get tough. We need to do this achievement, Dark Gems. So some of these can be crafted. Or is it called a shadow gem? It's called a shadow gem. So the little enemies, you'll see them. They're very small. I'm not going to run over there to show you one. I'm sure you'll understand. It's a pillar of smoke coming out of the ground, and there's a little nasty that hangs out there. So this is dropped by the small one. This is dropped by the medium one. This is dropped by the large one. This is the one you're after. If you get 9 of these, you can turn him into this. If you get 9 of these, you can turn them into this. So in a perfect world, you'll kill the really big ones, which we started hunting because the very, very first one, we got 9 of these because we had a bad night, very poor spawns. And we compressed it with the horsepower machine, the compressor, in order to make it. So now that would cover dark gems. We'll need to make this grill. So we'll look up Hopper. It's the easy way to find him. So you're going to need a dark gem. You're going to need more of that red cedar. You're going to need a shark tooth. You can get this from your strainer, or you can actually fight the sharks, but I don't recommend it. This hopper we've built before. I'm sure you can figure it out. This is the one with the cobweb and the bark. And charcoal dust. So you're going to take charcoal. You get charcoal by taking wood and burning it in here. You'll get a charcoal block. You'll throw it in this grind station. Nope, I don't want you to grind the wood. I want you to grind the charcoal block. The charcoal block will turn into this. You'll take 2 of these. You'll throw them in that millstone that I showed you in this building. and you will crank it until you get 2 dust. That will allow you to build this. That will accomplish this achievement. This, we're going to cover a rig with this a little bit later, but basically it can act as a fire and a hopper. All right, so the melter. There are a couple ways to go about getting this. Porcelain. This is the way that the game shows you. I don't recommend this. You only get one. I recommend going the grout option. So grout, we can let it catch up, turns into these bricks. These bricks can be turned into melter stations. So we'll go outside. I'll show you one that I've built now. You're going to need the seared heater and the melter. So we're just going to throw that in here. So the seared heater will require you to make barrel extensions, a grill, and these bricks. These bricks come from the cooked grout. And you'll also need a melter. You'll need one of those advanced primal chests. You'll need that grill that you made from the previous achievement. And there you go. So you'll place, once you complete that, that'll actually push you into age 2, or age 1 rather. And that will give you access to the normal vanilla crafting stations. And the game gets a lot easier at that point. So I believe that covers everything that we've missed, except for these two. When we find these NPCs, and they're reliable, like the ones we found in the Let's Play got killed by zombies. But basically, you're going to go to a village. With this one, bring a bunch of bone meal. This one, bring feathers and ink sacks. Look for NPCs that will trade you an atlas and farmland. I will cover this as soon as we find some new NPCs that aren't dead. Alright, now that we've covered the achievements, I'm going to show you the machine of the time. That is very helpful. All 3 of these presses and saws and grindstones, they all look the same. I've designed them this way for a reason. You can use the primitive hopper along with the shelves in order to do this. So I just drop a shelf down here. I put a hopper facing down, just like with the chop block in the other video. Then I drop the chopping station on it. With the hopper, I hold down the shift button and right click, and it'll feed into the machine. Then on top, when you jump up and hold down shift, you can drop this shelf on top. You'll just feed in the components, and the horse will do the rest. It is exactly the same for the other 2. There is one major difference. The grindstone wants to be one off of the ground. So the saw block, right on the floor. The grindstone, no. The press, right at ground level. The horses require this space that I've cleared out around them to be clear. This is a visual aid for anyone who happens to be running around here. If you throw like a berry bush or something in here, it will stop working. So this is just for everyone to know this is a claim space for a machine. Don't build here. So I think that concludes things. Hopefully I'll see you again real soon. And if you would be so kind, I'm new to YouTube. If you can throw me a sub, a like, a comment, mention anything I missed. Did I cover these points too fast, or was this better? You know, let me know. But hopefully I'll see you again.